Live from the Ken and Valerie Baker studio at WHYY, this is Studio 2.
On Thursday, the 30th and final day of April. Welcome, friends, on into the program. I'm Cherri Gregg.
And I'm Avi Wolfman Arendt. Hessian soldiers.
Yes, the Hessians.
Say that 5 times fast. Hessian soldiers. It's a difficult one for me.
It is.
Or don't say it 5 times fast. Just listen to the program today where that term will come up many times because we're going to play back one of our Tavern Tour events. It took place last month, right?
Yeah,
it took place last month in New Jersey, and it was all about the Hessians, who were these German mercenaries who helped the British during the American Revolutionary War. I was actually not part of this event, but I heard it's a very interesting conversation. I will hear it for the first time today with all of you. Cherri, you were there along with EP Kevin McCory, and it was great, right?
It was a great event. We had a little packed room at the Barnesboro Inn in Sewell, New Jersey, and learned a lot. I had never heard of the Hessians before.
Okay.
So in preparing, I learned about these soldiers, where they came from, what they did while they were here, and we'll be talking about that on today's show.
Sounds great. It's also a DJ of the day.
It absolutely is.
Because it's a Thursday. We like to end our week with a song picked by one of you on the topic of that day's show.
So
Gonna have to be creative, I think, this week because the topic
Mercenaries?
is Hessian soldiers, mercenaries. Obviously, there's a Germany
Fighters?
connection here. I don't know. But anyways, if you want to submit a song of the day to EP Kevin, you send that song submission to studio2 at WHYY.org before 12:30, and one of you will be our DJ of the day. Again, that's studio2 at WHYY.org. But first, a trio of local news stories. Start us off.
And hopefully you listened to Studio 2 yesterday, and if you didn't, here's some news. WHYY hosted a 3rd District debate on Wednesday before a live audience. It was Studio 2's first ever political debate.
Whee!
Yay, right? The debate made headlines. Literally, it's on the front page of the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Philadelphia Daily News because it was a great debate. But also,
That's not why.
but also because candidate Dr. Ayla Stanford decided just 2 hours before we were slated to go live that she would not participate. And if you don't know who she is, she's a physician here in the region, known for her work during the pandemic and founding the Black Doctors Consortium and helping a lot of folks. But not going to lie, we were very disappointed that she did not show up, but we pushed forward. And we had a very fruitful conversation with State Senator Sharif Street and State Representative Chris Rabb. We talked about issues ranging from their top priorities if they were elected to Congress, to Democratic Party strategy, to foreign policy, to legalizing marijuana. And also we talked about healthcare, and we pressed them on some of the differences in their platforms and how they would see their individual roles in Congress. And I thought it was a fruitful debate. I don't know about you. What do you think was a high moment?
To be honest, it wasn't a moment. And I just have to be honest. I mean, the fact that one of the candidates did not show up overshadowed the entire debate. I do think it set the tenor for the debate.
Yeah.
And look, I'm reading between the lines a little bit, a lot of it. But you know, we had 2 candidates up there who are in real time trying to process the fact that maybe the race is changing before their eyes. And I do think they were a little reserved as a result, perhaps just because our format was so good.
Yes.
That it was such a civil conversation. But I do think that that affected the tenor of everything. You know, they're considering, where is Stanford in this race now? How do I approach this other person, given the fact that, maybe the third candidate is not as big a factor anymore, right? And there's a lot of speculation in what I'm saying, but I do think that ultimately what it ended up being, which I thought was really helpful for the folks that listened and watched, was a pretty civil conversation.
Yeah,
There was not a whole lot of like, my candidate does, my opponent does this or my opponent does that. It was pretty much like,
here's my belief.
Here are my beliefs,
yeah.
and here's why I believe them.
Yeah, and I have to say, we heard from a number of audience members after it was over who said they hadn't really been paying attention to this race, and last week was really one of the first times they kind of pulled their head out of the sand of life and really started focusing and doing their research in advance of May 19th, which is the primary election day. So I really do think this was a missed opportunity for Dr. Stanford, and I should mention that her campaign issued a statement quoting her, saying that she was unable to reach terms with WHYY on format. Of course, we take issue with that because we really tried to accommodate her and all the candidates in advance. And in the statement, Dr. Stanford also said that the race had been marred by, quote, misogynistic lies and attacks by her opponents. We did ask them about that. And they, of course, they said that they didn't have enough specificity in as far as like what exactly they were accused of doing, and they both denied it. So I hope you check out that debate. It's on our YouTube channel, but we'll see how things shake out.
Yeah, and of course we have this platform. I'll just momentarily say that our team is super professional.
Yes.
And always negotiates in good faith.
Absolutely.
For every guest on every show, and I thought was incredible through this whole process. And folks can judge for themselves. They can watch that debate and they can ask themselves, was this a trap debate? Were we trying to create viral moments, or were we having a serious conversation in a serious forum? And you be the judge. You go watch it and you tell me. I can't be the judge of that. I just know our team is super professional and super competent.
And we are people who, if you listen to the show, we try our best to be fair.
Absolutely.
And do our job. So
enough about us.
Second story.
Philadelphia School Board is set to vote today on a facilities plan that would result in 17 schools closing. This is a rescheduled vote. It was originally supposed to take place last week. Well, why the delay? A big reason is community pushback and pushback from members of city council. In fact, members of council rallied this morning outside school district headquarters. There were 10 members there. That's a majority of the council members. According to the Inquirer, they issued a range of warnings and threats, including civil disobedience at tonight's school board meeting, maybe auditing the school district's finances, maybe even withholding money from the district if it indeed goes through with this facilities plan.
Yeah, very interesting. I feel like people are taking these school closures very seriously, as they should. But I think something like this could turn up really, really quickly. So, because I think the line between protest, civil disobedience, and violence and threats of school board members could be very thin. So hopefully this will not go there. And I think, I'm now back to the school district road. I know people are feeling very strongly about Lankenau. That was a big one.
That's a high school, yes.
That's a high school that is very unique.
It's set to close, yeah.
Yeah, set to close. And so hopefully, these threats will give council the leverage they need to hopefully negotiate with the school district. But I just hope that, the council members keep the same type of energy, though, when people in the community come to them and they want to do civil disobedience as well for something that they believe in. Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see. This is getting really testy.
Absolutely. Not surprising. Closing schools is a very emotional issue. However, I would say this to the members of council who oppose the plan. If there's a school you want to save, then what's the school you want to close?
It's hard.
Or if you want to keep all the schools open, you're the ones that fund the school district. Give them more money to do that. Like, they have that power. The school district, if you don't know, here in Philadelphia,
they have to make a choice.
Does not raise its own money. It does not have taxing authority. It accepts money from the state and the school district and a little from the federal government. So if you want all the schools to stay open, I think it's pretty simple. Put a price tag on it.
Yeah.
City council.
Provide the support.
Or if you don't want to do that, and you want one of the schools to stay open, then tell me which one should close.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that.
And that's going to be a hard thing for them to do. That would be really, really hard for them to do.
It's really easy to say no to school closures. It's really hard to form a plan.
Yeah, it is. It is. Ooh. That's nice. Anyway,
Whatever.
Moving on.
And
this is a
by the way,
former
that's for city council.
education
That's for
reporter.
city council. The community members who are pushing back, I 100% understand that. No one wants their school to be closed. You should fight for your school, but they're not the ones with taxing authority.
That is true.
Council has taxing authority. They have money. They can do something about this, and I would love to see some seriousness about what they can do.
Yeah. Third story, some Philadelphia restaurants are preparing to add a mandatory tip, aka a 20% service charge to your bill during the World Cup games. Our story and Billy Penn lays it all out. Shout out to the reporters there. The Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association recommends that businesses consider this so-called hospitality fee as a way to deal with the flux of customers that are going to take over the city, many of whom are from cultures unaccustomed to tipping. The PRLA argues that Philly fans may approach a bar or restaurant and have a very different expectation than someone from Brazil or the Ivory Coast, for example. And in the U.S., the standard tip is 20%, but it's much lower or non-existent in other cultures. Your thoughts, Avi Wolfenaren?
I'm fine with auto. You just disclose it and are clear about it. Don't try to sneak it in the bottom of the bill.
And then get a double tip.
But at the end of the day, I have a choice as a consumer. If you want to auto tip and your competitor doesn't, then I can make a choice.
Yeah. And they say that this takes the pressure off of servers who typically have to educate a table, and then it leads to conflict. So we don't want conflict. That's what they say.
Yeah, I don't have strong opinions on auto tipping, but
Yeah.
just be clear about it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Don't have people double tipping. Okay. And we're going to talk about the Hessians coming up. And make sure you get your DJ of the day selections in by 12:30.
And if you're on YouTube,
hey,
we'll see ya.
Oh, yeah.
And rest of you on the radio, you'll be right back here on
Yeah.
Studio 2.
Studio 2 at WHYY.org for DJ of the day. We'll be right back.
Supporting WHYY, the Raritan River Music Festival, this month celebrating its 37th season of presenting concerts in historic locations throughout western New Jersey. This Saturday evening, May 2nd, presenting Duo Jalal in a program of new American music for viola and percussion at the historic Hunterdon County Courthouse in Flemington. More information at Raritan River Music.